What's good, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome back to the Water Boys channel as I got one of my free agency targets that we should be keeping our eyes out for. Free agency is in 2 weeks away, but that means we are going to dive further and further in. That means you should be subscribed to the channel because I will be releasing daily videos that you do not want to miss out. And before we jump into this video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up throughout the video and like it. And without further ado, we have some news coming out of Dallas that they might release Amari Cooper. So let's see if he could fit here. So there are reports coming out of Dallas that they might be parting ways with Amari Cooper. And how did we get here? Dallas, they're kind of in a pickle themselves with, they got a lot of people they want to pay. They got things they need to restructure. One guy they can't restructure is Zeke Elliott, and his contract is like hell. And that's why they got to potentially move on from an Amari Cooper who will cost them around over $20 million this year. So they want to look for the lights of re-signing a Michael Gallup, bringing back a Cedric Wilson, and trying to bring back much of that core. With that, too, that means they got to take a loss. And it's nothing against Amari Cooper. He's one of the best receivers in the game when fully healthy. I know that's up for debate, too, but I think if Amari Cooper is on top of his game, he's easily a top 15 receiver in the league. And people are like, wow, that's a wide margin. There's a lot of good receivers in this league, and if he could be a top 15, that is very standout. But Dallas needs to find a way to save money with all the contracts they have tied up, and I think it's the correct move they do because Michael Gallup, he's younger. He is coming off a torn ACL, so you'll have to see how you want to progress with that. And then Cedric Wilson, he did good filling in for Gallup. So you run with CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Cedric Wilson. I can see why they're doing that because you got to take away a big hit contract. That means Amari Cooper, you are available and you are one of the most fine wide receiver targets out there, and it just adds to a really good group that's already exists. You got the likes of a Devontae Adams, who everyone might think is going back to Green Bay. We don't even know what Aaron Rodgers is doing in Green Bay yet. There's a new story with him every day, so I think that depends a lot in that situation. You got a Chris Godwin who's hitting out there, Amari Cooper now, Juju, Allen Robinson. This receiving core is deep, and I'm probably slipping some that I've missed. And then you got a really nice draft class also. But Amari Cooper, here's the thing, and whether it be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, social media, whatever, I've seen KC's input, and it's about, I want to say it's probably like 60-40 in the bad. They don't want Amari Cooper here. And the thing is, I don't get really, is he's substantially better numbered wide receiver number 2 than any receiver on this team. He makes a wide receiver number 1 on most teams. And it's just, I feel like people forget who Amari Cooper is. And I know he has had his situation with drop balls last year. And stats are stats, so you can't believe them. But he only had 3 last year. So I know in the past he's been really bad with it. And then also, too, you don't know what type of locker room guy he is. I've seen that. It's just, he's a receiver. I'm not going to say he's a diva, but they want the ball, and definitely in the offense like Dallas was too. And then Dallas's offense was very inconsistent, which you could say KC was also. But I feel like in a locker room like Dallas, there's more turmoil to blow over just because it's Dallas, and they don't really have a coach that, you know, can sustain things, sustain emotions. And I'm throwing shade at Mike McCarthy, but Andy Reid, no matter who's come in, even like a Le'Veon Bell who didn't like it here, he still said he loved the culture. You'll never not hear a player say they do not like the culture in Kansas City. And that could be what changes everything too. And also, Amari Cooper, he's getting older, but he's not older. He's as old as Tyreek Hill. You have 2 wide receivers age 27 that you could keep for the next 3 to 4 years. It looks like Tyreek Hill, he's getting close to that extension. I mentioned it in last night's video. If you haven't checked that out, please do. We're talking about wide receivers in that one too in the draft, so you do need to check that out. But if you pair up a Tyreek, an Amari Cooper, and a Travis Kelce, how could you not like that? Even if you do have your inconsistencies. Everyone has inconsistencies. You can't expect it for a full 17-game season unless you're dealing with the likes of someone who's like crazy unstoppable. We rarely see that in this day and age. But that's what it is. When one guy's down, the other's got to pick up the slack. And I would depend on an Amari to pick up Tyreek slack, or a Tyreek to pick up an Amari slack. And then you just, like I said, McCole Hardman is not a number 2, but he definitely has a role on this team. He is a playmaker, and then that means he gets more openings as well. I'd like to see him as the number 3 on the team. I don't understand. It's like, Chiefs fans, did you forget Amari Cooper with the Raiders? He single-handedly had some games where the Raiders beat us because he went for 200 yards against us. He was a touchdown machine against us. And honestly, our number 2 last year, and it's like very inconsistent, and I'm tired of bunching groups of guys, whether it was a Robinson, Pringle, or Hardman. We need that solidified number 2. And Pringle, I love him. He is a great receiver. I just think he's going to get paid, unfortunately. And honestly, I don't think he's a number 2 on this team. And I don't even think he's a number 2 on any team. He's a 3 at best. But the heart of the kid is amazing. And he's the type of locker room guy you want. And I'd love to have him back on the team if we can get him on a team-friendly deal. But he's young, so he's going to want to get paid. But let's say if that worked out too, if you had a Cooper and then Pringle back on a cheaper deal and then a Hardman, that is a solidified lineup. And then I get what people are saying too. Well, why would you want to spend that type of money on Amari Cooper? You're right, I don't. I don't want to spend anywhere near $20 million on Amari Cooper. I don't want to say not near. I spend the 13 to 15 range because I think he's worth it. But he's also up for trade, which I don't think no one's going to bite on that because no one wants to touch that 20+ million this year. You can always restructure or give him a contract extension if you do trade for him. But again, who's willing to do that? I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, if there's someone who really wants him over another team, that's where that trade bait comes into hand. But I think he's going to hit the free agent market, and I think these wide receivers, it's going to be iffy, honestly, for these wide receivers. I don't think they're going to get paid the way they want to get paid. Now, some might, like the high end, of course, like a Devontae Adams, a Chris Godwin, but then the drop-off. I think that's where it's going to start hitting, and that's because this draft is loaded too, and that's when people are going to come in. Well, what makes you want to go with the Amari Cooper over a guy you could have for 4 years and not affect your cap whatsoever? Valid point, and I really haven't come to terms on that because that's a hard thing to think, but it's also too, how do you know one of those guys there are going to be there that you want when you can grab an Amari Cooper, a solidified vet receiver with you right now? And then you can make that same aspect. Well, if you want a wide receiver in the first round, why don't you want a cornerback or a D end? Like my dream thing, which I'm probably going to make a video too because news came out on him. But J.C. Jackson, we can spend big dollars on him and then draft a receiver. Or you can go vice versa. You can spend big dollars on Amari Cooper and then get a cornerback. There's so many situations, and that's why I'm here to go through all of them. That's why I get videos daily, because this free agency, I believe, is going to be crazy, and hopefully it doesn't pan out like Casey's quiet as hell, which I highly doubt. But that's why I get all these hypothetical scenarios, because anything's possible. Casey's showing with the lights of making a Tyreek Hill extension, they're trying to expand more money. They'll probably restructure Mahomes' deal. That'll open up $20 more million. They could do something with Joe Tooney too to open up more money. Release Frank Clark, open up more money. Like, I believe Casey's going to make these moves to be big spenders, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be very interesting to see. It's just, I think this is a big domino. I really do. Amari Cooper, I think KC might be interested. I don't think a lot of people are going to pinpoint them as a team, but again, it's just like last year as well. When free agency hit, we were shocked when KC was in the finalists for Trent Williams. We didn't even think they were going after him. We knew they wanted to fix the line, but they wanted to hit a home run. And then 2 days later, they signed Joe Tooney, and we're like, oh, well, they're out for Trent Williams. They were still going for both. That's how much they want to change lines. Brett Veach is a dealer, and he'll try to get whoever he needs, and he'll make it happen. That's why whatever their pin focal point is, and I haven't pinned it down either, what's a bigger need? Is it the defense or is it the offense? Because no matter what you want to say, the defense does hold us back, but KC has been known to be the team that offensively, that's how they win the games, and their defense makes that crucial stop. So will he be like, we need that weapon to keep this offense just keep flowing where no one can touch us again? Or do I stick with the defense? Or does he find a way to make it both work out? This free agency is crazy. I love diving into it. It gets my mind just running every day because I swear news just keeps changing constantly. But like I said, that's why I'm here. But that's going to be the question for the day. Do you want Amari Cooper in KC? Yes or no? I'd love to have him. I think you guys are crazy if you want to knock him away. He's going to be the best number 2 receiver we probably ever had. Just think about that. Think about a legit number 2 wide receiver Casey has had, and if they match up with Amari Cooper. I'm just saying that off lip right now, but I really believe it, and I believe if I went through the stats, I don't think no one would touch him. But again, Amari Cooper, you want him a Kansas City Chief? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments down below. But with that being said as well, I am checking out. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel because there will be Kansas City Chiefs news daily on this channel that you do not want to miss out on. This video is ending. Hit that thumbs up. I'm checking out.